Hello, I'm Theodore Parker, and this is Friday, July 29th, 2022, and this is a sideshow. Right about now in this area, the temperature is around 70 degrees, going up to 82. Yesterday, I got caught in the rain walking to the store. I think it was about 70 degrees heat index, 7 degrees above the listed temperature for a heat index, but worked out okay. Mask. Continue to advise that and for you to check your positivity rate in your area. Plus monkeypox. Read in the news that today there would be vaccines available. I'm taking that to mean that in states and areas where monkeypox has been confirmed, that there will be a vaccine available starting today. Speaking of diseases, and I'm not sure earlier this week when I saw Dr. Fauci in a conference with a room full of people, he was not discussing this particular situation. In Mississippi, a disease has been discovered, which probably the last case was reported in the United States in 2020, and there have been a few cases, but what brings this one into the news this time is that it is a disease that is endemic in tropical places, such as Asia and South America. So it's related to bacteria in the water and soil. So in this case, Mississippi Gulf Coast was where this was discovered. Usually it's contracted by traveling to these places, but this case was reported and the person had not traveled outside the country. So it was verified that they had contracted it from the soil. And the name of it is Burkholderia pseudomalia. There's a lot of scientific names, but symptoms are fever, joint pain, and headaches. It can infestate any part of the body, including the brain. And there's a 10 to 50% fatality rate with this disease. So I'm just passing it on. Lottery, big time lottery deal, $1.05 billion. Last time it was over $1 billion was 2019. 3 people got 5 numbers to win $1 million in the Mega Millions lottery. Now it's at 1.02 billion, which means a lump sum payment would be $602 million going to the winner. Native American community. Pope seeks forgiveness for sexual abuse at Canadian residential schools. There are obviously Native Americans in Canada, and this particular case dates back to before the 70s and into the 1970s, related to residential schools. The pictures that are provided show young girls, and amongst the comments were made were that parents were sending their children off to school and they never returned. So the Pope seeks forgiveness for that. I think recently on Prime, there was a movie called Black Bear, which was based on the Native Americans in Canada. If you have time, if you're interested. High courts, Sotomayor and Barrett try to persuade each other. You know, we had some really significant cases coming through the high court recently. And This particular article is related to the fact that they were at a conference for law school and were being interviewed by a law professor. And the event is the first time the justices have made a joint appearance. Barrett, an appointee of President Donald Trump, joined the court in 2020. Sotomayor, an appointee of President Barack Obama, has been on the court since 2009. Sotomayor is the court's first Hispanic justice, and they are the court's third and fifth female justices. So it continues. Two of the Supreme Court justices who disagree most often on the outcomes of cases say they both still try hard to persuade each other and sometimes succeed. Justice Sonia Sotomayor and Justice Amy Coney Barrett made the comments in a pre-taped conversation made public for the first time Thursday evening. Barrett, a conservative, and Sotomayor, a liberal, were on opposite sides of a decision last month in which the court stripped away women's constitutional protections for abortion. They also disagreed on decisions where the court expanded gun rights and lowered barriers to religion in public life. But, noted Barrett at one point, we like each other. We do. Agree to disagree. Going back to that idea of the sexual abuse at Canadian residential schools, that's always upsetting. I think recently I saw two cases of this type of activity. One where there was a 27-year-old man who was abusing a 7-year-old girl, and he would put a mark on the calendar of a heart every time he had an encounter with the 7-year-old. And there were 143 hearts on the calendar. The next one that kind of got me upset was a 28-year-old man was abusing a 1-year-old baby girl and had videotaped it or video filmed it. And it was circulating. Both of these people are in custody and in jail. So it's Friday, getting toward the end of July, summertime. August still to go. So it's the weekend. Got ideas, as they say, people to see, places to go, things to do. So that brings us back to our entertainment. So, you like music? I like music. All of us like music. Especially, we always sometimes see people playing air guitar. And when I was in college taking my classes, especially dealing with tech worlds, it was already understood that iOSs would probably be updated every couple of years. But here's an article on guitars and a brand new style of guitar. And it's because it has an ergonomic experience regarding the neck. So all my guitar players could pay attention to this. So I'm gonna try to hold this up so you can see it, maybe. Okay, can you kind of make that out a little bit? So it's, it doesn't have strings, it doesn't have the usual accompaniments with that. But what makes it interesting is that with the knobs and the tuning and everything, the neck curves. So people are different. So the neck can be adjusted for people with short arms and people with long arms, and the knobs and everything else go along with that. So you have curve control, you have your knobs, and it makes for a different experience. Pressure sensitive sensors, soft plastic, curve control, velocity sensitive triggers, soft plastic, pressure sensitive sensors, volume and effect knobs, hard plastic, main body, air sonic carbon fiber, outpour jack, stainless steel. Here's another little bit of the design of it. And if you are a guitar player trying to shred and do other little techniques, you might find some benefit in that. I guess colors are optional. You see it again on display. Guitars, new technology. So, Curvo, by definition, not an electronic guitar, but something brand new on the market. On the market. Maybe I'll walk into a store and find one there and they'll let me try it. Looks interesting. Looks interesting. And this is, like I say, basically put together on the ergonomic experience. And this was provided by Yanko Design. Curvo. Probably can check it out on YouTube. So I didn't want to burden you down with a whole lot. I shouldn't say burden you down, but didn't want to put you to a whole lot today being Friday and the weekend coming up. But some of those articles, I was thinking about this movie. I saw one of the John Wick series where Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne are doing some of the final scenes. Both of them have been beat up pretty bad. And they just brought John Wick in and dumped him unceremoniously on the floor. And he's laying face down, and Lawrence Fishburne is sitting painfully in his chair, gets up and hobbles over to John Wick, kneels down and says to him, "Are you pissed, John Wick?" And John Wick looks up and says, "Yeah, I'm pissed." Anyway, Friday, July 29th, 2022. That's it. Hashtag.